For the record, you are guilty of killing many women and girls.
Like an addiction, you keep craving something which is harder, something which...
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I want to take a look at Ted Bundy. I've chosen him to highlight psychopathy and how to spell a psychopath, because I think there's no denying that something was terribly wrong with this person, and I think this is a great video to point out some of the traits of psychopathy and how to recognize psychopaths, so you can apply this to your everyday life to see if there's any psychopaths around you. So yeah, here we go.
I was essentially a normal person. I had good friends. I led a normal life, except for this one small but very potent and very destructive segment of it that I kept very secret and very close to myself and didn't let anybody know about it. And part of the shock and horror from my dear friends and family years ago when I was first arrested was that there was no clue. They looked at me and they looked at the all-American boy.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about psychopaths, is that they normally have a mask. And this is what differentiates them from their slightly less dangerous cousins, sociopaths. They are the experts of putting on a facade of being a normal person, while really they harbour very unnormal, sick desires. This is very scary, and I think this is what makes psychopaths very hard to spot, and for that even more so dangerous.
Talking about unsolved cases, murders that I was involved in, and it's hard to talk about all these years later, because it revives in me all those terrible feelings and those thoughts that I have steadfastly and diligently dealt with, I think successfully, with the love of God. And yet it's reopened that, and I felt the pain and I felt the horror again of all that. And I can only hope that those who I have harmed, those who I've caused so much grief, even if they don't believe my expression of sorrow and remorse, will believe what I'm saying now, that there is loose in their towns and their communities people like me today.
Oh, he just goes on and on. So here we have Ted playing the holier-than-thou victim card. He's the innocent victim in all this, actually, and he's a man of God. He's name-dropping God in there. Yeah, I don't buy it. I think it's all a show, and I think that it's very actually unfair. He is passing the blame elsewhere, still doesn't take responsibility for his actions, and pretends to be this holier-than-thou person and exhibits duping delight the whole way through. He's talking about this, which shows that even he knows he's lying. So, very manipulative and psychopathic.
But I've lived in prison for a long time now. And I've met a lot of men who were motivated to commit violence just like me. And without exception, every one of them was deeply involved in pornography, without question, without exception. Deeply influenced and consumed by an addiction to pornography. There's no question about it. The FBI's own study on serial homicide shows that the most common interest among serial killers is pornography.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's real. It's true.
Ted, what would your life have been like without that influence? You can only speculate.
Yeah. Well, I know it would have been far better, not just for me, and it's, excuse me for being so self-centered here. it would have been a lot better for me and lots of other people. I know that. Lots of other innocent people, victims and families.
So while I don't doubt that violent pornography has a terrible influence on, a lot of people, and prisoners are probably, addicted to these horrific types of pornography, I don't think that gives Ted a get out of jail free card. He still chose to act out these terrible desires without remorse and continue until his body count was at 50, without fear of repercussions, because he kept doing it over and over again. And then once he did get caught, he tries to pass the blame elsewhere. It wasn't his fault, he's the victim. He's got no remorse. And this is why I think that Ted Bundy is a psychopath. So yeah.